Well, you've heard of the city of brotherly love, but it was a brotherly beatdown. The Phillies swept the Rangers for the first time on the road for quite some time since their last 4-game series against the Colorado Rockies back in May. We're going to be talking about it and previewing the upcoming World Series rematch with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Stick around on the DLLS Rangers podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome into the DLLS Rangers Studio Podcast. Abby Jones here with you. We've got the Prophet, Elijah, behind the DJ booth, as I like to call it, and then Jeff Wilson out at Globe Life Field. Howdy, Jeff.
Hey, how we doing today?
I'm doing fine. It seems that Rangers Nation could be better, but I'm doing fine. How are you after your vacay?
Well, it's a one-day vacation, so I don't know if I'll even call it a vacation, but I'm a little worn out, but got back in time today to watch a ball game and wrap this one up, and kind of look like the April and May Rangers.
Yeah.
Good pitching, good defense, not enough offense. So got to get out of this one, as Bruce Bochy said afterwards, and we're in a funk. Got to get out of it. There's no time now. There's a little time, but you can't be getting swept. You need to be winning series. So it's time to do that, and hopefully the Diamondbacks are the perfect patsy for this team, because they could really use 3 good games and some momentum.
Yeah. And this is the time of the year that, things feel bigger than they are. Sometimes people like to kind of make a mountain out of a molehill. I mean, with the Yankees series, when they were just in town, the Yankees did everything in their power, although playing horrible baseball during that series, to not get swept. So you were hoping that, the Rangers could kind of rally today and get one. But going against Zach Wheeler, I mean, that is one tall task, because if there's one game in this series to win, it would be the Jacob deGrom start the other day. Zach Wheeler grinded his way through 5 innings to get his first win in more than a month. His velocity was down a little bit, and his command kind of continued to be a little bit over the place, but did get the job done. Like Jeff mentioned, started out with that 2-run home run from Jock Peterson at the cleanup spot, and then quiet offense. It's a little bit disappointing. You talked to Bruce Bochy after the game on the podium. What did Boch have to say about this loss?
Yeah, well, offensively, the Rangers have came out in this series and scored first each game. The first night was, Merrill Kelly was off, and Luis Carvello, may think at the end looked a lot worse than they were. deGrom was really, really good last night until the 7th, and then Corbin was Patrick Corbin. I don't know what people are expecting from him every time. He does keep the Rangers in the game and give them a chance. The Phillies scored 3 runs against him. Okay, that should win you a ball game. Wheeler, though, even when he's not great, he's good enough, and the Rangers just couldn't build on that momentum. That Jock Peterson home run gave them a ton of momentum, and they couldn't build off of it. And a lot of it is pick a name out of the hat, and they're probably not hitting as well as they were at various times this season, because you have Adolis who's back circling the drain, and I think Wyatt's about to break out. That's a kind of a gut feeling there, but Simeon's still not quite there. I thought Berger had a nice series. Josh Young, maybe a little chilly after his start and the home run and the walk-off against the Yankees. And then even Kyle Higashioka, I know he got a hit in this game, but he had he was only 1 for 12 coming into this game. So there are, you know, there are guys who are struggling. The team has really the team has struggled since the All-Star break. You know, they came into it with some momentum, but when you lump all the numbers together, they're, you know, back there in the bottom third in the league. So it's the same problem, and you know, we have to quit thinking it's going to work itself out, because I don't know that it is, you know,
Yeah.
and I kind of felt that way in July at the All-Star break. Things kind of seem to be going a little bit better, but they're back to where they were. And I don't care if it's because the other team pitched really well, had good pitchers going, or you know, if it's because the construction of the lineup is just not good enough. Whatever it is, it just hasn't been good enough. And with let's say the exception of about 5 weeks, this offense has not been good.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, it's the story of the entire season. The starting pitching has been great. Um, let's see. Out of 30 teams in Major League Baseball, the 2025 Rangers, they are 28th in batting average, 28th in on-base percentage, 28th in slugging, but they're 4th in relief pitching ERA, 1st in starting pitching ERA, and 1st overall pitching ERA. So, yeah, I mean, when you have that good of a starting rotation and then no offense to back it up, I mean, it's going to be difficult. Um, so it's been the same story for the Rangers this entire season, and I'm with you. You know, there's been the few standout games. That stretch after the All-Star break at home was amazing, and if those bats were going to be like that every single time, then hey, it's a recipe for success. But you know, even this series, I mean, the starting pitching was good, not maybe great, but the offense just really, really struggled to get it done.
Well, I mean, if you have the best pitching and the best defense in baseball, and you're barely hanging on to, you know, this playoff picture, you're barely in it now. It's like in Back to the Future when Marty started fading out of the picture. You know, the Rangers are still have their image and silhouette in it, but it's you know, it's starting to disappear a little bit, and it's because the offense is so bad. You know,
Yeah.
you you can't. It's hard to imagine having the best offense or the best, sorry, pitching and defense in baseball and still just be hanging on. This team should be well above 500. We've established that, and it's going to be, you know, there's going to have to be a lot of soul searching here in the off season if this continues. Now, if they get a little, they just have to get a little bit better. You know, they don't have to get like uh, they don't have to be the 27 Yankees. They don't have to be the 23 Rangers. They just have to be a little bit better. Honestly, we'd take the 24 Rangers. You know, if everybody talked about how bad the 24 Rangers were, and they were, but at least they were kind of like middle of the pack.
Hmm.
This offense is not middle of the pack. The Rangers would love middle of the pack, and middle of the pack might get them that wild card spot. But with the way things are trending right now, with the Mariners, you know, getting a very friendly part of their schedule at home against the White Sox, and doing what they're supposed to do, I think they're on their way to their 7th straight win. They've moved within a half game of the Astros, who won today at Yankee Stadium. You know, the Rangers are starting to be back into that realm where they're going to have to, you know, make the playoffs via the wild card instead of the division. So, but before they can start thinking about any of that, they got to get their acts together offensively, and you know, again, it's in them. It's in
Yeah.
them, but it's just kind of not working, and it's not working at a very important part of the lineup there in the middle. I think Seager's fine. I think Seager has you know had let's say 4 bad games in a row, and now he's back to, you know, being you know, terrifying pitchers, and really he had a home. He was robbed of a home run today, right?
Yep.
And then
Home run yesterday.
he hit one about 10 feet foul there in the 7th inning that would have been a 2-run homer. He ended up flying out to the warning track in right center, but this guy's back to to where he was for about 30 games there.
Mhm.
But he can't do it by himself, and if Simeon and Garcia aren't going to hit, Seager's easy to pitch around. Maybe Jock Peterson, maybe this is happening. Maybe this is real. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm still not willing to go there, but he will walk. He'll draw a walk. He's got a little pop in there, and it has been better. I mean,
Mhm.
he's batting 150 now. I'm not sure, but it's if you're looking for a silver lining of these last 6 games or to start this homestand, I think Jock Peterson is one of them.
Yeah, and we can dive into Jock too because I did pull up his numbers for August. But when I was talking to Bruce Bochy today, before batting practice started, um, actually checking up, he's just under $150. Jock. Um,
Okay,
we're
he's
getting
getting
there though.
there.
We're getting there. But when I was talking to Boch earlier today, last night's loss, he kind of mentioned we're just needing that one more hit. We need
Yeah.
one more hit, and timely hitting would be ideal. So I said, well, what do you want? Do you want cleaner at bats? Do you want more plate discipline? Do you want more aggression? And he said, I hate to make it simple, but you just gotta put the wood to the ball, put it in play. And that's what the Rangers are kind of struggling to do as of right now. I mean, I think before it's been runners in scoring position, but in this series, it's like they didn't even get in the position to score, to do anything with it. They had
Right.
one opportunity today. So when you have one opportunity, you don't take advantage of it. I mean, obviously that's not going to happen. But when you leave 8 on base and 7 of those didn't even get in the playing field of, being productive, that's just not, there's not much you can do with that. So yeah, it's tough. To spin that on a positive though, Jock Peterson looked up his numbers for August. He's hitting .375, 6 hits, 2 home runs, 3 RBI, and 4 runs scored in 9 games this month. So Jock has been doing definitely better in the month of August.
Yeah. Yeah, he has been, and the but he is a strict platoon guy. So if the Rangers run into um, a good string of right-handed pitching here, then that's good. That means that he's going to get some regular at bats, and that'll help him get more, get a better feel than what he seems to have. It's the lefties again that are troubling the Rangers. They did pretty well against the 2 Yankees lefties who are all stars. Um, what was the order? Fried and then Rodon. Uh, they got just mystified by Christopher Sanchez on Friday, and
Mhm.
Luzardo figured it out and looked like he might have been on the ropes there for a while. So I mean that remains unsolved. Now maybe
Yeah.
Jake Berger helps. Maybe Jake Berger helps with that. I I I guess today they're facing a right-hander for the first time since Berger was back. He was on the bench, and the Rangers went with Rowdy Tellez and Josh Smith in left field, which was a little surprising. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that's going to look like when Evan Carter's back. And Evan Carter in the pregame, it was um, revealed by Bruce Bochy that Evan's going to take live batting practice tomorrow, which is obviously a heck of an indication that he's feeling good and trending the right way.
Mm-hmm.
So you put him back in the lineup. What do you do? Who goes out? What's the next shoe to drop? Would it be Tellez at that point? And I'm not sure, but it's certainly. I think the team is better when Josh Smith when it's Wyatt Langford, Evan Carter in the outfield,
Mm-hmm.
left to right instead of Smith and Langford.
Right.
Although, hey, Wyatt made a heck of a catch in center today.
So,
Very next play, Adolis makes a miraculous play, kind of kept the Rangers in it.
yeah, no, Adolis had to remind everybody he's a Gold Glover for a reason. But no, it brings up a good point about what the Rangers are going to do in the outfield specifically. But props again to Josh Young. Josh Smith. this guy has been plug and play anywhere in the lineup, anywhere on the field. I mean, really, there's nobody more valuable, I think, to this year's team than Josh Smith because of his versatility. So yeah, I mean, they even were kind of having, some chatter about if Josh Smith could win a Gold Glove at the utility position this season. Um,
Yeah.
and last year, he wanted Silver Slugger. That'd be a nice 1-2 combo for him, for the 24 and 25 season. So, all right, you gave an update on Evan Carter and anything on Tyler Mahle.
Not really. He was walking off the field today, and I said, "Hey, what are you doing?" He goes, "Oh, nothing." No, and I was like, "What are you doing baseball wise?" And he said, "Oh, just throwing." But he thinks he's going to get on a. He said late next week he might throw off mound. Some time for him. He won't be, right back into the lineup or into the rotation after one mound session. This guy's going to have to get built back up, and not a lot of time to do it. So you're kind of wondering what his role will be like when he does come back. Maybe it turns into a Mahle Corbin piggyback situation. Not sure. And then Chris Martin, he's going to throw live batting practice on Tuesday. Also an encouraging development. Although, I guess Luis Carvello would be the guy to go to the minor leagues at that point. I wonder, though, if in this last few weeks, if Cole Winn hasn't worked himself into a consideration for some high leverage innings. He looked great again today. If not this season, then perhaps next season you're going to see a lot of Cole Winn in the 7th and 8th innings, maybe the 9th. Honestly, and I don't know whether they want to throw that on him right away next year, but this guy's got stuff, man,
Mm-hmm.
and that's he knows where it's going now, and that
Yeah.
had been a problem for a couple of years. So if he continues on this trajectory, the Rangers might have a really good reliever.
Yep. All right. Well, we are going to dive into all of that and a little bit more, and an update at the catcher position. Stay with us on the DLLS Rangers podcast because Jeff's going to tell you about game time.
Yeah, this is Rad's wheelhouse, but he's off somewhere in Michigan enjoying family and cooler weather. But his good buddy is Nicole from Game Time, and she's always sending him stuff. Once you're in the Game Time loop in the system, they will do their best to keep you up to date on what's happening, what's coming to town, and baseball wise, it's the Rangers and the Diamondbacks who are coming to town here. We will be talking about that very soon. But there's always music and theater and even some comedy shows. So be sure to go to download the Game Time app, and then if once you do, you go find your ticket that you want. It's like got the view of the seat and the all-in pricing. It's as good as it gets. So you download the app, you do all that. You get 20% off your first purchase when you use the code DLLS.
Ooh. While you were saving some money, go ahead and check out Branded Bills. Whether you need snapbacks, truckers, fitted, beanies, or tees, Branded Bills has you covered with performance and style. If you're looking for some gear to make your brand stand apart from the crowd, Branded Bills has you covered with the best custom headwear. You can start an order, or they have a dedicated team that will help create the exact custom apparel that you need. They also have a partnership with 40 colleges so that you can join part of their campus collection. Got TCU, Jeff. Have you checked out the TCU hats yet?
I have one that my
Oh, you
wife
do?
stole. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds like you need another. But
Yeah.
Texas Tech and Texas as well. So we've got a code for you. You can use BBDLLS for 15% off of your first order. That's BBDLLS for 15% off of your first order. And Jeff, what do you call the beanie?
A stocking cap.
They have a stocking cap in case you need them. So
Yes.
all right, so
Thank you
some
very much.
news today as far as the catcher goes.
Yes. The Rangers finally got a third string catcher. Now he's going to the minor leagues. It's Omar Narvaez. Pretty good player there. White Sox, then with the Mariners, and then with the Brewers. His playing time has steadily decreased the last few seasons. and he only has 10 plate appearances this year before the White Sox release him. Of course, they're going a different direction, and so anyway, he's not coming to the major leagues. Narvaez, he's going to go to Round Rock, and I would expect though that he will be in the major leagues at minimum, at the latest by September 1st. They'll need a third catcher, and it's possible they do it beforehand. For one reason, the struggles of Jonah Heim. Offensively, he's 1 for 19 in his last 7 games, 10 for 61 in his last 20. If you want to do the math, feel free. I can assure you it's below 200. And, there's just a lot of times there where it's I'm not a big believer. I'm kind of a believer in this, not a huge believer, but like bad body language. Just like he's going up there, already out.
Yeah.
He just the wrong mentality. And he said he battled with that last season at times and thought he'd gotten over it. So maybe he just needs to, go out and have a couple drinks and relax or something. But it's not going very well right now. Higashioka, unfortunately, is also kind of in the skids. I think he's two for his last 15 or 16, which again, if you do the math, isn't very good. So there's some problem offensively right now at that position, and if they view that as an untenable situation here, then maybe you could get Narvaez. The problem is he needs a 40-man spot, and I'm not sure that the Rangers are ready to use one yet. They need one for Tyler Mahle. I guess Tellez could become a 40-man spot if it gets to that point. But it was an interesting signing, and really the Rangers had tried very hard at the deadline to get one. They really liked Joey Bart from the Pirates. I saw something where Ryan Jeffers from the Twins had received interest at the deadline. Wouldn't surprise me at all if the Rangers inquired about him. Especially, maybe when they were talking about Danny Coulomb, they were like, "Well, hey, what about that Ryan Jeffers fella?" Somebody who could maybe even be a DH against left-handers, and in the lineup on those days with Higashioka, like the Rangers have done with Hyman and Higashioka this year at times. But right now, I think maybe they want to give Hyman a chance to work on some things. I'm not sure, but Higgy has caught 2 of the last 3. Maybe he catches tomorrow's game since today was a day game, but I'm not sure how that's going to look going forward. But I think right now it's safe to say that Higashioka is the lead catcher right now. It was like a 1 and a 1A. I think right now it's a 1. I think Higashioka is a
Right.
1. Yeah.
Yeah. And, going into the season, that was not what you expected it to be. If anything, it was going to be primarily Jonah Heim, and then Kyle was supposed to be a nice pickup, big bat in the postseason, but numbers have been interesting this season. But I agree with you, Jeff, on the body language. Jonah Heim does not walk around that clubhouse like the All-Star World Series catcher that he is. You can kind of tell it in his body language that there's something that's not really clicking, and I kind of agree. It's been for some time now. He doesn't really talk to the media too often, so I can't even really gather anything that it would be. But Jonah's numbers, concerning at this point, hitting 215, 76 strikeouts, 20 walks. He's got 9 home runs, 35 RBI this season. And, again, playing 92 games, 328 plate appearances. So it definitely is just a different Jonah Heim. I took a look into his Savant numbers. For his expected batting average, he's 221, bottom 6% of Major League Baseball. And then for weighted on base average, he's actually even lower in the bottom 4% of baseball, 266. So it's, those are concerning numbers. And Bruce Bochy knows exactly. I think that's the great thing about Boch is he knows how to handle older guys that, get those daily reps, and he knows when enough is enough. I mean, even when
Yeah.
Jock initially was here and struggling and really not making any contributions initially, I kind of pulled Boch aside and I'm like, "Are you concerned yet?" And he's like, "I'll know when I'm concerned. I really will. I can tell." So, yeah, I mean, but it's definitely a difference, and to have Jonah be that superstar, maybe not superstar, but that reliable player that he was, you would really love to have that in the lineup right now too. But he's not
Yeah.
alone in that. There's plenty of
No,
guys.
he's not.
Yeah.
You're right, and he's at a spot in the lineup where he's not in the middle of the lineup. Yeah, he's not in the middle of the lineup. He's not a spot of lineup where there's two guys on every third inning and he's making an out. The Rangers don't have that situation hardly at all.
Hmm.
But it's go time, right? I mean, got to contend, got to have your best lineup on the field at all times. I'm not sure that Jonah's part of that right now. Of course, you can't kill your catcher though. This isn't
Yeah.
1975, and catchers don't catch 150 games behind the plate anymore. So he's gonna play. It's just how much is he going to play going forward? A couple comments. Angel R. He will continue to beat the drum for Cody Freeman. He has experience at catcher. And you're right. He has experience at catcher, but he's never caught above high A, and he hasn't caught for 2 years. So there was a reason I think that the Rangers wanted him to become an infielder
Right.
again. No, and maybe one of those reasons is to spark up the bat because it's been fantastic, and you
Yeah.
could make a very, very good argument that Cody Freeman should be in the major leagues right now. And
Maybe
then
just not behind the plate.
yeah, and then Andres Flores, our old friend, we had Liam Hicks all along, and that's correct. It's a very overlooked trade. I think last year was it Hicks was either for Carson Kelly or for Yosemite Sam, and then the Tigers went and traded him to the Marlins in the offseason, and all of a sudden he was their number one catcher there after an early season injury to their catcher Nick Fuentes, who got traded to the Rays right before the deadline. So yeah, hey, Liam Hicks, he could hit. He was a hitting machine. He was won the Arizona Fall League batting title right in 23. So that's a guy who's gone because now Cooper Johnson is the I guess highest rated, most advanced catcher from the system who isn't Omar Narvaez, and Cooper was in big league spring training, and nice kid and seems very likable, but I'm not sure the Rangers are ready to go there just yet. So there are some questions at catcher, and then one other point. The Rangers are 31 and 36 when Heim catches.
Yeah.
So they're above 500 when Higashioka catches. Some of that might be just luck of the draw. Maybe Higashioka has caught Evaldi and DeGrom more than Heim has, but something that's worth looking into.
I actually did talk to Bobby Wilson, the Rangers catching coach, about that because I found that stat a little bit ago. The numbers were even more skewed in favor of Higashioka. And Bobby said that catching, there's really so many factors to that role that it is a little bit difficult to pinpoint exactly. The record is concerning, but there's so many factors. It would take a little bit of a deeper dive. Granted, that was a couple weeks ago, and things have gone down south a little bit, so I'm interested to kind of follow up and hear their answer on that. But hey, remind me of the situation with Carson Kelly, because I just decided to look up his numbers for fun this year. And I mean, he's on the Cubs, great team, but he's doing well too. 276. He's got 13 home runs, 38 RBI, 42 runs, 70 hits, and plus and WAR. So
yeah, he was never going to resign. with the Rangers because they weren't going to give him a multi-year deal, and he got one from the Cubs and started the season on fire. He was killing it, and it sounds like he's still doing just fine. So he was a good guy. Seemed to really like it here, but it was pretty obvious that if the Rangers were going to give out more, at the time we didn't think they were going to give out a multi-year deal. Then they gave it out to Higashioka. Maybe if Higashioka had turned him down, maybe at that point, if Kelly was even still on the board, he was such an early sign. But maybe had their first call was to Higashioka. If he had said no, screw you guys, then maybe they would have gone to Carson Kelly and said, "Oh, baby, we'd love to have you back." But I think Higashioka is the better defensive player of the two.
Yeah. Speaking of an old friend, did you get to see David Robertson today? Did you get to chat with him?
I didn't speak with him. Saw him, and he looks great. And it is interesting though because a couple casual conversations, like I guess last year at one point he was reminded, "Hey, you have an option with the Rangers," and he was like, "What is that for? $7 million?" And apparently he said, "Yeah, no chance. Maybe double it." Well, he didn't get that in the offseason. And then there were some people who are like, this guy, who like in spring training, he was on side and was like, "Oh, why won't he sign?" There are some people who know him well were like, he really doesn't want to pitch right now. He just wants to pitch for like half a season. So it worked out perfectly for him if this is what he wanted. He's with, a World Series contender at age 40. They're paying him some pretty good money for basically 2 or 3 months of work. So good for him. I love David Robertson though. He was fun to watch. He was you could tell he enjoyed the game. If he had a bad game, he was at his locker waiting for the media, dressed or just hadn't done whatever it was. He wasn't leaving until the media either said yes or no to him. So it was a real pleasant experience. And so, yeah, it was good to see him today, although we didn't converse.
That goes far in your book, I know. All right, we are going to preview this World Series rematch from a few years ago coming up on the DLLS Rangers podcast. Stick around. All right, we're heading out to Vegas first. Let's go to Vegas because the Cowboys are going to be there for Monday Night Football against the Raiders. Ooh, boy, that's going to be a fun game. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah.
Raiders
a fun
made
experience.
They got Ashton Genty and Pete Carroll. So that'll be interesting to watch. Cowboys preseason is going on now, and the Cowboys are actually going to be in Oxnard this week as well. But go ahead and book your trip out to Vegas. It's a pretty nice deal. Vegas. Yeah. I've never been to Vegas, so I actually have zero.
I was gonna ask if you'd ever been.
Yeah, never been. So I don't know technically if it's a good deal, but I feel like I looked at the numbers and it's not too bad. Everything is, you're going to be with the DLS Cowboys crew. So sounds like a pretty fun trip. It's going to be kind of the first boots on the ground trip, if you will, as a diehard fan base. So go ahead and sign up for that.
Yeah, truefantravel.com. There are partners there, and going to stay at Mandalay Bay. It's a football weekend in Vegas is the best weekend to be if you like to bet on sports and watch football because it's fantastic. The only problem is it's Pacific time zone. So, those games that start at noon here start at 10 there. All right. It's a little bumpy if you've had a long night the night before. But if you go, you need to go to store.allcitynetwork.com and make sure to get you some merch so that you feel like you're part of the team. And once you hang out a night with Clarence, I think you'll have a whole new perspective on life. I would recommend that trip wholeheartedly. Oh yeah, in a good way. And then, of course, I also recommend the merch. Everybody knows how much I have. If you watch the show, I'm not wearing any today, but by God, I wore some yesterday up to Denver to see my family. And I'll admit it, I saw the Savannah Bananas play. We can
Oh,
talk about that later. But
okay.
for now, truefantravel.com and store.allcitynetwork.com.
Man, that I bet Molly enjoyed that.
They did. The kids seemed to have a good time.
Well, that's good. Maybe they had a bit more
Yeah.
fun than the Rangers fans did at the ballpark. Okay, so we have a rematch of the World Series 2023, kinda, sorta, actually in a different way. Let's take a look at these probables because Merrill Kelly is ready to make his first appearance against his former team. I gotta say, seeing Merrill Kelly pitch against Zach Gallen, that just sounds weird. But you got Evo, Leiter, and then Kelly. Um,
Yeah. I mean, theoretically, you look at these matchups like advantage Rangers across the board. Nelson's had a good year, but he hasn't been a starter all year. DeScalfani, he's only made 3 starts. He actually took Carroll's spot in the rotation. I think his last time out, he went 4 innings, 4 1/3, somewhere in there. So he's not fully stretched out yet. The Rangers actually, I'd heard his name mentioned with them for bullpen help before they did what they did. So you look at the pitching matchup, and Gallen, who is getting ready to walk into free agency and having just a horrible year. He and Merrill Kelly are like best buddies. So
yeah.
they'll have fun doing that. The Gallen thing kind of reminds me of like James Shields, because James Shields was a kicking butt for the Rays and having all this great success, and then he kind of had a couple rough seasons there, and ended up having to, as I recall, maybe sign for less, but then he rebounded and got a good deal, but then just got old and started breaking down. So the pitching again should favor the Rangers. The offense, I didn't see any left-handers in there, if I'm not mistaken. So a good opportunity for, like we were talking about earlier, for Peterson to get back-to-back games, back in this case, and maybe the Rangers find something. I would like to see Berger play against right-handers.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I just really think that that's something that is in the long run would be more beneficial to them than Rowdy Tellez in a platoon.
Mm-hmm.
Berger's more athletic. He's a better defensive player. He probably may not hit it as far as Tellez, but there's the potential for more home runs if you just look at their career track records. I know that Tellez had 35 in a season not that long ago, but Berger combined for 63 the prior 2 years before coming here. So I would like to see that myself, but the Rangers need to win this series. There's just
Mm-hmm.
no other way around it. It's not up for debate. They need to win at least 2, and 3 would be really, really handy.
Yeah. And the Diamondbacks have been pretty inconsistent this season. They're currently 56 and 61. They're 4th in the National League West, and their playoff chances are pretty slim. They're trailing 7 games in the NL wild card race, and they've been unable to, maintain, a winning record. They hover around the 500 mark. They were hoping to make those pitching improvements last year. They had one of the worst teams as far as pitching went in 2024. They were 27th in the majors with a 4.6 ERA. So with their struggles, they have a few great players. I mean, Corbin, Kelly, Ketel Marte, and before the trade deadline, I mean, how often do we talk about
Yeah,
Suarez?
right.
And
Well,
but they've good.
no, the big thing that happened to them this year was when Corbin Burns got hurt and needed Tommy John surgery. That really kind of changed everything, because you would think, I think going into the year, they're like, well, if we roll out Burns and Gallen and Kelly, we're going to be hard to beat. Kind of like the Rangers right now with
Three-headed
Evaldi,
goat.
deGrom, and Kelly. You would think that the Diamondbacks would have liked how they felt about their pitching rotation. They really haven't had a good bullpen for a couple of years. including the year they won the World Series or went to the World Series. Um, you know, Paul Sewald was their closer, as we remember there, and Corey Seager took him deep. And Paul Sewald hasn't been the same since. Now I think he got hurt also, but they don't really have like a guy they can count on. Not too dissimilar from the Rangers, but the Rangers have an experienced bullpen, whereas the Diamondbacks is kind of like, hey, I've never heard of that guy. And then another thing I've been wondering, not to be cynical, but how long will we keep billing this? Not we, you and me, but like everybody, as a World Series matchup. Repeat. Hey,
I felt weird saying it just now. I can't even lie.
Yeah, yeah. It's going to keep losing its luster a little bit. Like I don't think when the Rockies and Red Sox play, they're like, oh, hey, this is a rematch of the 2007 World Series. I think it's just, hey, it's the Rockies and the Red Sox. I don't know. That might be a bad example, but I think that
is a bad example. But
I think
I get what you're saying.
I'm going to give this one more year of shelf life.
I agree.
After next season,
it's done.
I'm going to put a kibosh on it. Yeah,
it's done. So I agree. And a pickup that the Diamondbacks got this year was a catcher that I thought would have been in the mix for the Rangers, James McCann. He's a longtime family friend of ours. Good dude. Insane veteran of the game. He caught a lot of great guys. So yeah, but Ketel Marte, Corbin Carroll, those two are problems this season. Carroll's hitting 248 and Marte 288. Ketel Marte at the All-Star. I was in Atlanta covering that. He had his whole family in a color-coordinated matching suit.
Yeah, I saw that. That was
the Diamondback,
sharp.
The blue. Yeah, so he knows how to dress. But yeah, it's.
Go ahead. You mentioned Carroll's batting average. He has, I think he leads the other league, maybe baseball, in triples, and he's over 20 home runs. So he's dangerous. He can run like the Dickens, and he's a little fella. But
yeah, he does lead the league in triples.
Pretty good ball player.
Which triples and doubles hard to come by these days. I don't know if you and Rads have done a deep dive on that.
I mean, I don't know. We have not done a deep dive on that. Triples are there are certain ballparks where triples come into play, and two of them happen to be in that division, Colorado and San Francisco. So maybe he has a couple at each of those ballparks. I'm not sure, but it's just been a weird offensive season across baseball. You have these guys who are doing great, like Raleigh and Schwarber and Ohtani.
Ridiculous.
But then you kind of look and it's like, all right, they're just hitting home runs,
Right.
Yeah, and they'll draw walks now because they're feared for the damage they can do at the plate. But you look up at the Rangers lineup, and I know everybody looks at OPS these days, and I do too. But Corey Seager is batting like 267. It just seems a little bit low for a guy who can make so much noise offensively and seemingly has. And maybe what he's done since he got out of that funk after the IL stint, maybe just relative to what the rest of his teammates are doing, we're like, man, this guy's having a great offensive season. And maybe it's just like he'd be average if he was on another team. I kind of doubt that, but it just seems like this team is pretty. It's just been funky. And to your point about the doubles, before Marcus Semien got hot, he went like the first 2 months of the season with like one or two doubles. Very strange.
Hard to come by. What I was going to say was Carroll leads the league in triples. He has 14. That's not much.
Yeah, it is. I think if you have like a 20 triple season, that's pretty big.
I'm just saying, leads the league. All right, we'll talk more, because also an interesting point on that too that John Heyman tweeted was batting out. He's like, batting average doesn't matter anymore. Well, the top 5 teams for batting average are in first place, so gonna leave that there. Yeah. All right, we're gonna talk more batting cleanup to end the show. So stick with us on the DLLS Rangers podcast.
I'm getting all choked up here. I've got a little something still that I can't get
Oh,
rid
well, I'll
of.
tell them
So
about the Die Hard
making me
first.
it's making me clear my throat and all that
I'll tell
stuff.
them about a Die Hard first. You can tell them about the merch. Go ahead and become a Die Hard today, because it's the best quality content that you are going to get for all of the teams. We actually have a training camp Die Hard deal for you, so you can get unlimited sports access for $36. I don't even think that you can go to a Rangers game for 30. Maybe you can. But it's not a bad deal. You definitely can't get like 2 Whataburgers at the stadium for $36. So it's $3 a month if you do the math. And then you're going to get a free shirt, which is pretty much the $36 fee if you think about it. Then you also get exclusive content. You get a Die Hard only Discord lounge. You get a Die Hard member card. You get 20% off events. And then you also get 20% off of merch too. So it is, you run down the list. It's a lot of bang for your bucks. But you're also going to be like the most educated sports fan as far as Dallas sports go, because our beat writers are top of the line. They always have, first access to stuff, deep dives into everything. And Jeff, love reading all of your articles, post games, and Clarence Hill with the Cowboys, and Sam, we got Sam and Sean with the Stars, and then, of course, Tim Cato with the Dallas Mavericks, and Mark Stein. So go ahead and sign up to be a diehard today.
Yeah, that 20% thing, that applies to the Cowboys trip in Vegas. It's 20% off of, True Fan travel. You don't get a discount at the blackjack tables. You gotta, we're not that powerful yet. But the trip's great. And again, I think I brought this up either last post game show last week, or I don't know, within the last couple weeks, about gauging interest in a spring training trip among you guys in the chat, and a lot of you responded with that you would be in favor of it. So I really think we need to look into that. I'd be curious to see how they do it. I don't really know what goes into it, but I do know that we can get tickets pretty easily, and we could go to a couple road venues. We could go to a couple home venues. If you guys wanted to hang back on the backfields and watch minor leaguers one day, you can take with it what you make out of it, what you would. But again, that 20% off from being a diehard. If you were to invest $36 right now and take that trip to Las Vegas, you would definitely be getting your money back. You would. That $36 would be like an investment, because you would save so much on the trip. And same thing if we do end up heading out to surprise with a group. So become a diehard today.
All right. Well, it's time for batting cleanup. I know this was yesterday, but definitely worth mentioning. Josh Hamilton back at the ballpark. He was not inducted into the Hall of Fame yesterday, despite what everyone believes. He got his jacket. But it was a really cool ceremony for him. He was joyful. He was beaming. Saw you tweet. He's a one of one kind of guy. They played a little hype video for him, and just chills. I mean, what he's done for the Rangers is the list is long. Jeff, I'm sure that you have a ton of personal experience, ton of personal stories. But it was really cool to see, how excited he was just for the recognition. And then honestly, he got a pretty well-rounded, feedback from the fans. Everyone was kind of cheering for him and happy to see him there.
Oh yeah, he was beloved in his first 5 years with the Rangers, and then hated because of what he said about DFW being a football town, which a lot of truth in it. He just probably shouldn't have said it. He was booed mercilessly. The Rangers opened the season the next year against the Angels, so he was booed mercilessly, and so was his wife Katie. And anyway, the guy, I've said it before, he's the most talented player I've ever seen. He had so much talent and was so good. And in 2010, there was no better player. Of course, he won the MVP, so that kind of speaks for itself. But he was Mike Trout before Mike Trout. He just didn't have the ability to sustain it, be it through the demons he battled, off the field, his home life, which came to light a little bit here. Part of the reason why he was away from the team for so long, as he dealt with those things. But this is a good guy whose heart is in the right place. He just needs a little nudge in the right place occasionally. But he's been remarried, and that sounds like his new wife. I haven't spoken with her, but somebody referred to her as an angel. So that's good to hear. And hopefully I'll be in contact with Josh soon. I hated missing him yesterday, but I've been speaking with somebody who assures me that soon I will have an audience with Mr. Hamilton, which I'm probably more excited about it than he is, but he said he'd like to talk to me. So we'll see what happens.
We didn't miss anything yesterday. He didn't do any media availability. So even if you were there, wouldn't have been anything really there. But yeah, AL MVP, batting title, 3-time Silver Slugger, 5-time All-Star, and ALCS MVP. Nice little ceremony there. And then today, the Berger family did something so cool, and they had the first Down Syndrome Awareness Day at Globe Life Field. Jake and Ashlyn were there with the Berger Family Foundation and Texas Rangers. Jake gifted his entire team with these super cool shirts, all for Texas. It's like a rodeo kind of vibe, but it's $30. Tee with a mission, created for those who stand for inclusion. The All for Texas Rangers collab tee features the All for Texas, All for Down Syndrome. So if you purchase that, 100% of the proceeds go directly to the programs making a difference. They talked to Ashlyn during the game. She got really emotional about how supportive the Rangers have been just with this organization as well. And I mean, you've seen it. You know, this team supports each other through and through. Corey Seager did a back-to-school shopping with his wife, Maddie, the day before. Jake and Ashlyn were there. Josh Smith, or I think Jack Leiter was there. Definitely Josh Young. But, you know, these guys, just any initiative that they want to take, they definitely, you know, help out with the cause. But it was really, really cool to see what the Rangers did today.
Yeah, and it was. I don't know if there was a special ticket you could buy, or if the Burgers offered tickets to families of people with Down syndrome. But there were a lot of fans there who had Down syndrome, and they were having a great time, and so that was cool. Yeah, the Burgers haven't been here very long, and they're already making an impact in the community, and that's fantastic. And when you have this platform, it's important to make use of it, and so you're going to see a lot more of that from these younger players, like Josh Young last year having his wiffle ball tournament, and
Yeah.
all the veterans get it. The Simeons get it. They help out a lot at the Urban Youth Academy. John Gray and his wife support a lot of animal shelters and such. So they're just a lot. And John Gray does all the stuff with the military folks. So good people, and
Good
again,
guys.
the Rangers actively seek those traits out in free agents. They don't want a bunch of a-holes on the team. They want people who are good people, because they believe good people make for good teammates.
Yeah, and we kind of talked to Boch about it, and just, the leadership. Like, all of these guys, I mean, the Rangers are full of just a bunch of married dads, basically. Like, there's, I think, maybe 3 fellas that aren't engaged or anything in the clubhouse, and everyone stays at home and stays in when they go on the road, and it's not a group of guys that you got to worry about. So I think we're really fortunate to be around the kind of guys that we are on a daily basis. But that was a very cool moment, and see why.
And a lot of new dads coming. We got a lot of first
lot
time
of new
dads.
dads. We talked to
Seager, Simeon, or not
Smith,
Simeon. Simeon's wife's pregnant again, though.
Smith,
So what is it? Smith. John Gray's
Bradford.
wife is pregnant. Cody Bradford, and we're probably glossing over some. So I mean, there are a lot of new babies well, really, here's something to look at, and I know some people this really wrinkles the old folk, but um, Corey's wife and Josh's wife are due in September,
September.
and it's going to be interesting if they're in the playoff hunt, how
Yeah.
they're going to work it. Would they induce on an off day? Would because the players get 72 hours to a paternity leave, and if that's 3 games against
Mm-hmm.
the Astros, let's say, it's going to be a big bite, and
Yeah.
I'm sure the guys would want to be there too. So I'm sure they'd figure out a way. I mean, it's not like it's just them on their own, or they can't get family here. Well, whatever it is, but gonna have to wait and see how that one plays out. That's gonna be interesting.
That'll be interesting. I know. Yeah, back in my dad's day, they didn't have that, so it was an off day for us, and then back to work. I think I was on a plane pretty early too. Like I think my mom told me like maybe 3 weeks or something after, because I was born in May.
Okay.
But yeah, that they do get the paternity leave, and yes, you're correct. It's going to be late September for Josh and Seager, so that'll be interesting. Also, both of their first kids. So I think like
Right.
Simeon, it's 5th. All children are a blessing and special, but
Yeah.
you've
Well, I
been
mean,
there, been there
the
before.
the playoff run
Um,
last year, or in 23,
yeah,
that was kind of a deal. His wife was due any day, and they ended up inducing, and everything worked out fine.
yeah. All right. Well, something historic kind of happened. Also, which we didn't get to talk about. Some point over the weekend, they blur together. But Max Scherzer and Clayton Kershaw kind of faced off with each other as well, which is a really cool moment in baseball.
Yeah.
You don't really know if it's their last season. If you had to imagine, who do you think would retire first?
Kershaw.
I agree.
Yeah, I think this is it for him. I don't know about Max. Then apparently Verlander, who hit 3,500 strikeouts today, wants to pitch next year too. So um, I don't know. It's time for it might be just time.
Yeah, I think the way Clayton was kind of acting at All Star made me think this is his last season, because he literally said, "Oh, you
Yeah.
never know when it's going to be your last," and that's kind of something you say when it's your last. And then he, when he exited the game, he was kind of blowing kisses to his family and the crowd. So probably Kershaw's last, but yeah, JV and Scherzer having that strikeout race, trying to reach 3,500 career strikeouts. Justin Verlander did it today, 10th in MLB history, and like Jeff said, thinks that he can go in 2026. I think Scherzer's 44 strikeouts away from
Yeah,
that number.
it's sub 50. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think he can get there this year. I mean, I guess technically it's possible, but he needs to stay healthy the whole time. Yeah. So I don't know. I think they should call it a career and just go ahead and get their bust ready for the Hall of Fame and all that stuff, because their first ballot guys, Kershaw too, whenever that time comes.
Yeah. No, it'll be interesting. It's like you wish you knew you were in the good old days when they were the good old days.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll be interesting. Like Kershaw's a pitcher of the decade. So it'll be interesting. But the Brewers, man, they keep on winning. They came back and win 7-6 over the New York Mets. The Mets have a really
Oh,
depressing.
really?
Yeah, Mets have a
the
really
Mets were up like
depressing.
5-0, weren't they? Weren't the Mets up like 5-0?
Yeah, it was quite a comeback. The Mets have a really sad summer as well, but the Brewers just keep on winning. I think that'll be an interesting, definitely interesting postseason. Ichiro and Randy Johnson today in Seattle.
Yes.
That was a really incredible moment. Did you see that Mariano Rivera tore his ACL in that classic game?
I didn't. I don't even know what you're talking about. No, what
Really?
happened?
Hold on, I gotta give me a minute to stall. Okay, at the Old Timers game,
Oh, the Old Timers
he
game.
tore his Achilles.
Achilles. Oh
Yeah.
man. Well, he's old. I mean,
I know that's such a depressing thing, though.
it is depressing. Yeah.
But anyway, well, we're out of time today, so that's depressing as well. But all right, we are hoping for a little bit better of a series against maybe the last time we say the World Series matchup rerun. Except this time we got one of the bad guys on the good guys' side. So thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll be back tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.